This is, here in the States, a holiday week. It is Thanksgiving. You guys listen to this on Wednesday. It is, what do they call it here in the United States? Like the biggest bar night of the year? Yeah, it's the biggest bar night of the year. Is today, if you're listening to it on a Wednesday. But Thursday is Thanksgiving. And no matter how you may feel about how Thanksgiving actually came to be, it is the day to pig out on some incredible food. Eshaun, give me your perfect Thanksgiving dinner and dessert.
You know, I'm a ask you guys a question. Sorry to pause yours for a second. Turkey. Are y'all still down for turkey? Cause I'm a big X on turkey. I don't want it in my house this year.
See, it's got to be cooked right. Like I've had more bad turkeys than good turkeys. Like Rhodesia makes an incredible turkey. Like it's juicy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, typically though, like when I was a kid, I never had a good turkey. They were all dry.
Oh, man.
They were nasty. So like I didn't get it until I got older. I was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to taste. So I am big on turkey. Now we only do turkey either like on Thanksgiving and Christmas or just Thanksgiving. So I only get it like once a year. But yeah, 2 thumbs up on a well-cooked turkey in November.
What say you, Rhodesia?
I don't eat turkey. I don't eat that swine. I'm joking.
Remember,
I'm getting hype right now.
Seafood is
I'm pescatarian.
Okay.
Or our good friend Brandy calls it Presbyterian. I'm like, ma'am, I'm not Presbyterian, pescatarian. She's like, oh, okay.
Hey, I get it mixed up too, because I don't eat red meat and pork, but I'll eat, turkey, chicken, fish. What is that called?
Fake woke.
Fake woke. Okay.
Or half woke. Half woke.
Half woke. That's all that
half
is.
woke.
But look, like my wife makes an amazing turkey as well, juicy. On that day. But now you go to reheat it the next day, you put it in the microwave. Now that boy dry again, right? And now you got a refrigerator full of this nasty bird you can't reheat, can't do nothing with. You know what I'm saying? And then after like the third day, man, I feel like I done turned into a turkey, man. Like this turkey is just needs to go.
Well, because you got to keep the juices. You got to keep the juices so you can have that in there. So then, all right. So how long do you go eating the Thanksgiving leftovers? All right, is it a wrap come Saturday, or are you creeping into that next week? Are you creeping into the first week of December?
Okay, so for me, I want to keep eating it until bacteria start growing on it. But my favorite Thanksgiving dinner at this point in my life is usually just sides. Last year, I ended up having some fake ham, some fake turkey. They both were pretty trash. So I have mac and cheese, and I'm lactose intolerant, but it's worth it. And cranberry sauce and some crescent rolls. And then dessert. Hey, you can't go wrong with apple pie.
You also did lobster mashed potatoes.
Lobster mashed potatoes, I did. Yep, last year I did.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yo, hey, look, I was making sure can't nobody hear me.
I saw you looking.
I threw half that turkey away last year, man. I was like, yeah. I took it to work, and I was throwing that shit away.
So is there a turkey in the refrigerator right now?
Oh, so she was like, hey, I was like, hey, I'm going to the store because she had to work today. So I was out with the parents. We're doing shopping, trying to keep them entertained. So I was like, hey, give me a list, right? So that way you don't have to go out, Thanksgiving Eve. So she had turkey was one of the items, right? I got everything on that list for turkey. I got 3 Cornish hens. I got some chicken. But I have turkey.
Baby, we waited too long. They sold out. Hey,
but one of my favorite dishes. Actually, I'm with Rhodesia. Actually, at this point, I prefer more of the side dishes. And my wife makes a great dressing. Her dressing is off the hook. And so I get that dressing, and then top it off with some cranberry sauce. Son,
gotta have a cranberry sauce. Yeah, give me my honey ham. Give me some turkey. Give me cranberry sauce. You gotta have macaroni and cheese. You gotta have either some type of like rolls or biscuits to go with it. Also, I could just live in that. But then, hey, you got to throw in like a vegetable, so you can give me greens or whatever that looks like for that day. And then for dessert, pumpkin pie is a good one too. I love apple pie. I have like the biggest sweet tooth. I probably should be, if I acted on my sweet tooth, I would be 452 pounds. And it's just by the will and the grace of God that I'm able to suppress my sweet tooth and work out, because I should be like super. I should be huge. I should be humongous, and I'm not. So like for dessert, chocolate cake, anything, you give it to me. I want it all. I want it all. And Rhodesia said she's got like 3 or 4 desserts for us this year, and I'm
2
rolling.
surprises.
I'm rolling the leftovers until there's none left. I've eaten Thanksgiving leftovers probably, and this is to be completely honest, I probably have pushed it to like that next Friday before.
They gone by then.
Yeah.
Except for that turkey was going.
There's your work. There's your work.
Yeah, that turkey's gone before then.
A couple of things, Matt. It's not pumpkin pie that you like. So before you get your card taken away from you.
Hey, this ain't that
it's
freaking
cake.
This ain't the only page. This ain't the only page. I just want to make sure y'all keeping it. All right,
pumpkin cake.
Pie.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Stop. Anyway, see, I ain't even going there right now.
I do like
all right.
that.
And then the turkey gotta be, the key to a good turkey gotta be a fresh turkey, and it has to be small in size. So you can get you a 10-pound fresh turkey. That's the best, is when you get into the 16 and the 20-pound dogs and they're frozen. You're already behind the 8 ball at that point. So I usually spend double the price for the fresh turkeys than the frozen turkey.
No bueno on that. So hopefully you guys, all that are listening to this, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe out there all weekend, all week, and get back to us on Sundays. We're going to have a hell of a show for you on Sunday. We got Survivor Series breakdown. I'm still crossing fingers about CM Punk. We'll talk about Survivor Series preview later on in the show. But before we get to that, we got to get to this show, episode 85 of That's Freakin' Wrestling. At this point, if you do not know who we are, hey, we just took 7 minutes of your life talking about food. But I am Matt, Eshaun, Rhodesia, 3 the hard way, as always, every single week, twice a week. I guess let's start with, so here in Chicago, this is a major wrestling week, holiday week. We have Dynamite tonight at Rentrust Arena. We have SmackDown on Friday, which they've opened up even more seats. Now, like, damn near almost every available seat is open.
That's crazy.
For Allstate on Friday and Saturday, which is huge. So I know they're going to eclipse WrestleMania's attendance in that arena. They'll probably announce it at like 20,000. They'll probably have about 18 down there. So that's by far the most I've ever seen in that arena. But we got Survivor Series on Saturday. So I want to ask you guys, what is your biggest or best Chicago wrestling memory, being live in person for a wrestling event in Chicago?
I know I have probably a gazillion. I have a couple that stands out. One was my elevator incident with Teddy Long, but my most favorite one probably is, I believe it was Christmas time, like the holiday shows. It was definitely a main event, WWE main event show. And Bianca Belair had fell onto the floor on the barricade. And we were front row at this show. And I was able to find this like peephole, like in the separator between the barricade. And I was able to see her. And I kind of went down and said, "Hey, I love you, Bianca." And sure enough, she said, "I love you too." So that just completely made my day. Shortly later, I ended up spilling my red wine on the actual mat. I just knew I was going to get kicked out. But they didn't. I think it was because of the holidays.
That's a good one. E, what about you?
Chicago. I'm not from there. Would you? I don't know.
Yeah, all
in.
Hey, I can
numerous
make up
AEW shows here.
Yeah, you know. Hey, you know what though? We went to, what was it? All In or All Out?
Both.
I get them mixed up.
Both.
What was the last one we went to?
All Out.
I was All Out.
Yep.
I had a great moment. Shout out to my man Matt for setting this up for me. Dave LaGreca, one of my favorite wrestling personalities.
Yeah.
Right, I didn't. So somehow I didn't know he was going to be there. Because had I known the Busted Open crew was going to be there along with Gabby, I've been wanting to meet Gabby for a long time. I definitely would have found the opportunity to meet them. But I'm standing in line. We're at the All Out fan access. I'm standing in line to meet Andrade and find out Andrade didn't want to sign any WWE action figures. And I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to sign no action figure for your boy. I'm just standing in line. And all of a sudden, Matt rolls up with me with Dave LaGreca, and these guys are like side by side. You would think these dudes knew each other forever. And this is the second time that Matt has interacted with Dave. I remember the first time. This was at the first All In, right?
It was just all in
before it was AEW.
Yep.
You know, Busted Open's doing the show. Matt was like, "E, you gotta listen to it." And honestly, I didn't really want to listen to it because it was so much going on. Rhodesia, I think you came later on, but it was so much going on with the with Starcast. I'm like, I don't really want to listen to this show. It's going to take some time, but it actually was a really good show. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to the show on the podcast. And Matt was sitting talking to Dave LaGreca, and all of a sudden Dave's like, just pat my shoulder, like, "Hey man, let's go sit down and talk." So Dave is sitting, and Matt and Dave are just sitting talking like they've known each other forever. Fast forward back to All In or All Out in Chicago. They're at it again. And I guess Matt told Dave that, he introduced me to him at All In years ago. I had never listened to the show. Now I'm a paid subscriber. So I guess Dave was like, "Hey, let's go talk to him." So Dave LaGreca came from all the way from where he was to come talk to me in line. I'm starstruck. My mouth was open. I had no words for this man. I'm wearing a mask. I don't know if he knew that my mouth was wide open, but it was literally wide open. Like, and then Dave's trying to cut a promo on me about standing in line with Andrade. And I'm kind of marking out too, like, oh, Dave LaGreca's cutting a promo on me right now. Like, I didn't know what to do. So that honestly was like a really great moment. So shouts out to Matt for, I don't know how he got Dave to come over to want to talk to me of all people, right? But that was a great moment. I actually went home that weekend. I actually wanted to. I'm like, I can get on the plane back to Stinky, Georgia, and be happy. Forget the event. Forget the seats I got. I was happy in that moment. So that was a great event for me.
Yeah, and that was a great time too. I think mine was probably the first real AEW show here. Was probably because All In is something I'll never forget. But that was at the time what it was. It was just an indie show, a major indie show. But then when it became AEW, and it's like, hey, this is where it all started. For it to be like, yo, this is a legit alternative to WWE, and to be in the crowd for that was incredible. We haven't been to a ton of WWE shows here because we moved here in 2019. So we were here for Survivor Series. We've been to TV. We were here for last year's SmackDown. That was last time I saw Bray live. That was actually December 16th, I think it was. Yeah. But for me, it was AEW. So I am crossing my fingers. I am still holding out hope for Punk on Saturday. I know they're saying that there has not been talks and all that kind of stuff. But if that happens, that will be probably, outside of any manias I've gone to, the moment of experiencing wrestling live somewhere, is to see him come back home, quote unquote, in Chicago to WWE unannounced. That would just be incredible.
What would he be doing there? What would he be doing there? That would make sense.
I don't know if you guys saw that video of Nakamura. So he cut a .com exclusive promo after Raw, and he's still on the same.
Wow.
You're getting close. All this kind of stuff. I don't know who else he could be talking about.
Right.
And even doing Punk would be like, all right, that's kind of far fetched. Like, why is Nakamura wanting Punk, even though he did do the GTS a month ago? So even that's kind of like, all right, you've kind of forced in the narrative a little bit, but I still want what I said before. I still want Seth Rollins and CM Punk. And if you can take your time to get there to Mania, that is easily a night one Mania pay-per-view or main event that can, if they weren't sold out, they could sell out a stadium with that match. So we'll see. But I am holding out hope. I did think too, it was interesting. I guess leads us kind of right into the Randy Orton announcement from Raw. Did you guys think it was interesting that Cody never said his name?
I actually thought it was incredibly clever. I loved how I thought we got the best of both possibilities. We got to know ahead of time to assume that is Randy coming back, and we were able to save his pop for actual Survivor Series versus putting on the go home show. So I liked it a lot.
No, I actually thought the same. And by the way, I'm having a little margarita And it tastes like pineapple juice, straight pineapple. Like, like the pineapple, like Dole pineapple juice.
Yeah.
That's what
like
it
in the
tastes
can.
like.
Yeah.
Like in the can. That's what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
It's sweet, but it's sneaking up on you. It ain't just sneaking up, it's clubbing me over the head right now.
All right, so let's timestamp.
He's getting started.
We about 15 minutes into it. Let's see where we are in 30 minutes.
Go.
I didn't think this would be this quick, but I thought it was really clever though. I'm like, oh, it's like they're saving. This is the details on this show, like right, like they don't even want you to. They don't even say his name yet. Like they want you the first time you hear his name is when he walks out to his music on his big return at a PLO. Like wow, like right, like I think that's Vince wasn't even doing that type of shit. That's like some next level stuff from that team, and we're gonna get into the actual show in a few moments, but I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I thought so. I watched it on delay. I didn't watch it all on Monday because I was watching the football game, which they did 29 million viewers.
But that game was crazy.
That Monday Night Football game. It's like the highest amount of viewers in like 26 years or something like that.
Wow.
But so I stayed off of social media. I didn't, we talked about Orton weeks ago. We knew he would be at War Games, but I'm like, okay, I want to know if they're going to show him at all and how they announce it. And they waited. They waited till like 2 hours and 59 minutes and 32 seconds. And then when Cody went through the whole thing of Legacy, Viper, Voices, and he never said his name, I was like, okay. Like, are they not even going to promote Orton? Then I go on social media and then I see they put the graphic up and they said breaking Randy Orton in War Games. So it looks like hey, he's locked in. And to your point about details, Raw was full of it. Raw was full of attention to detail, from Jay's reaction to it being Orton.
You mean, yeah, well, how he was looking at him sideways, and then he still had the chair in his hand too. Yep, I peeped that.
And if you guys don't remember, last time we saw Randy Orton, he just got jumped by the Bloodline. So the Bloodline took him out for over a year.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Beautiful thread of attention to detail, right? Paying off us as fans for watching all this time. Even Drew's promo at the beginning of the show, he is still talking about Clash of the Castle.
Yeah.
That show happened 14 months ago.
But I still talk about the Clash at the Castle. I even said, yeah. So I thought that was perfect. I thought that was perfect. Thought it was perfect.
So, all right, you just said it, E. Nothing he said, everything he said was 100% factual.
He
right? Like
Drew.
there was nothing hillish about what he said. Everything he said was correct. And what I thought was, I'm like, okay, well, he's spitting out. Like, I love this promo. Love it. But then he kept going, and I was like, okay, well, he's starting to get sympathy from me. Because I'm like, no, he's right. He shouldn't just let it go. And then Cole on commentary was like, let it go, Drew. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, because why would he let it go? Like, it's not like he's gotten another opportunity and he lost clean. I guess he lost to Seth. So maybe that's the reason why. But I thought that, like, that was genius. You wait till turn him heel to get with Judgment Day, because I can get my hands on Jay in a cage. I'm still not over what you did to me and your family did to me last year. I thought that was pretty fantastic.
That's perfect villain talk, man. Villains always most of the time there's some truth in their message, right? But it's about their approach and their delivery and what they go about it. So I think it's perfect that he's setting it up, right? Because he's like, man, like, yeah, my family was there. Your family. What about my family?
Right.
Like, right? Oh, hey, y'all bet your family's watching when Seth whipped your ass last month. So, but it all ties together. It all ties together, man. Right. It was really great nuances on that show. It was. Hey, shout out to Internal, right? Because Internal had predicted all this, like, right, a couple of episodes we talked about it.
Yep.
So we got the exact layout of this match. Good stuff.
Yeah, we talk about the details on it too with Judgment Day, and this was the first time I heard Rhea mention that Damien was the leader of the War Games. Did y'all peep that?
Oh yeah, twice.
Not of the group. She said of War Games,
and he even said it.
Yeah,
I don't remember him saying of War Games. I thought he just said the leader.
He said,
I
"I'm
mean,
the leader."
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think he said, "I'm the leader." I think
No,
he's like,
he
"No,
meant-
yeah, since I am the
And
leader."
I think he just said the leader, and then
He
she
said the
said,
leader,
"Yeah,
yeah.
the leader of the war games."
Yeah, she kept correcting him, like, "Yeah, of the war games."
hmm
Yeah.
So,
I
so
like.
are y'all saying we getting Priest and Rio 101 at the Rumble?
Let's go. Let's go.
That would be a hell of a match. But that, hey man, if they was in AEW, we would be close to that. That's something
Yeah,
AEW should do though. They did that one trial run match with who was it? I think it was Omega and Riho. I think
Yes. Yep.
like if you can get away with bleeding in somebody's mouth, I think we can get away with doing some mixed tag. Impact does it, and their men and women interact all the time in their matches, and everything is kind of good. So I wouldn't mind saying that. Like
It's
on
usually
a
on the
main stage.
PLEs though, or pay-per-views where you see the women, not necessarily on their network TV. I bet it's probably more of a network thing,
Could
Maybe,
be. Yeah. Yep.
which is interesting, right? Because you think about it, even from a fan perspective. I don't know how many fans are ready for intergender matches, but we watch superhero movies all the time, and
All the
Wonder
time.
Woman she ain't just whooping on like women. You know what I'm saying? It's
There you
men
go.
trying to get at her all the
Mhm.
time too. So
Yep.
it's interesting that there's this divide with men and women, but at the same time, though, there is a difference between superheroes, like, right, and then real life. Like Riho, she can barely go toe to toe with half the women's roster, let alone get in the ring with
Right.
like a Brian Cage. Come on, man. Like it's some of that stuff, man. We got to suspend our disbelief a lot, man. But we can't, like, there's a time and place for some of that, but there's such a discrepancy in the weight and size of the men and women, and even the power, that it wouldn't be believable if he did it on a consistent basis. But with the right matches, I definitely think Charlotte could wrestle with some of the men, right?
Charlotte,
sure.
Rhea, Bianca,
Mm.
Raquel, Nia.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a
Mhm.
lot of women, and we're gonna talk about Nia Jax a little bit before we get off of
Let's
Orton.
talk about it. Okay.
So Orton, what are you guys expecting from him? Let's just talk from a story perspective. Does he turn on Cody like Saturday already off top, and that's the story until Cody gets ready for Rumble and Mania? Do we get Orton Jay first? What do you guys think? If you guys had to book, if you guys were booking, what would you have Orton do on Saturday?
Orton's gonna end the night as a heel. Now, what way he goes, I guess they get to pay the big bucks for that. But Orton is a natural heel. I will always ever know Orton as a heel. He's gonna end the night as a heel.
I predicted like Randy will cost the team the win. But we got about how many months we have from now to Mania? 6 months?
About 5. Yeah,
about
because
4.
5 months.
Because Rumble is a month and a half.
So if we're gonna have a mini feud with Cody against somebody until Roman, now would be kind of time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So now would be a good time for Orton to get that big pop and that fan, that big pop he's going to get for being coming back, get out of the way in the beginning of that match, right, and then turn on Cody and then do the little mini feud so Cody can then at some point in the near future turn all his attention to hopefully Roman at Mania.
I do think that I think this is going to be, and Cody used the word legacy on Raw Monday. I do think this is going to be a legacy run for Orton. I think this should stamp him as one of the all-time greats. This run that he's going to be on here. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like under Triple H creative. And then I also think we're going to be able to go back and look. They've set a lot of precedents in WWE, and we'll figure out in a couple years, good or bad. They've set a precedent for the Universal title of their champion not even being on TV for months at a time. How do you follow up on that going forward? Say if somebody, God forbid, gets hurt and they're out 6 months, they should be able to keep the belt because Roman's had 3 matches this year where he's defending the title, right? And then I think the other thing too is like we're going to look back at like, damn, Cody had one feud of all of 2024 or 2023 outside of Roman, and that was Brock. He's really been in like the hardest holding pattern, I'm going to say, for Orton, because that's the only thing that makes sense before he gets back to the top of the mountain against Roman at Mania and for that season. I mean, like that has to be, and some people I think hated it I didn't mind it at all because I enjoyed the Brock feud for what it was because we knew what that was about. And then, I got tired of seeing Cody against the Judgment Day, that piece. But, they threw Dom at him for a couple months. He won the tag champions with Jay out of nowhere, kind of just, all right, have him do something, and they lost it. It's just, it's kind of fascinating to see that your biggest face outside of LA Knight and outside of Jey Uso and Seth Rollins didn't really have a feud in 2024 after Brock, or I keep saying 23 after Brock Lesnar. So just kind of interesting. Y'all want to get into Monday Night Raw?
Let's go. Where we want to start at? We talked about already the opening with Drew. His passionate speech about, no, I ain't down with Judgment Day. I'm just rocking the war games with them. And what did he say? He said Rhea gave him something that he wanted, to be locked in the cage with Jey Uso, which is interesting because they end up having a match at the end of the night. But again, that didn't happen yet. That wasn't foretold at that moment. But I thought that was a good explanation.
As much as I like the promo, I do have a flaw with the promo. Is he still... So we walked away last week on Raw like, okay, he's a heel. We don't know if he's with Judgment Day, but we know he's a heel. I would argue and say, is he a heel after that promo? Because he said, I'm not down with Judgment Day. I'm not in Judgment Day. I'm only with them because I can get Jay in the... So like him even leading with that is like, so what are you? Are you a heel? Is this just a phase you're going through to get to Jay, and then after that, like,
he said he's the same Drew for the last 16 years.
That's what I'm saying.
How many ever years he said. So if Drew been a face most of the time, then he's a face right now.
That's interesting. That's interesting because if he is going to be a heel, then I may look back at this promo as much as I loved it and say it was a miss.
I think it's just the start of a new character. A lot of times within a story, they don't play all the cards right in the beginning. You show it over time, and that's what you might be seeing with them because you seem they're kind of being patient with their storytelling. So, I think it's okay that he doesn't morph into that super villainous role overnight. Like, give him time, let his actions speak for themselves. He might be that character that's I'm losing my words right now.
You calm over there. You smooth and calm right now.
I did say, let's see where he's at in 30 minutes. He's got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to get to 30 minutes. He's already gone.
Yeah.
What's that?
He turned on that sexy voice.
But yeah, he's calm. He's smooth.
Just, what we got to look at and just see. Hey, this drink's feeling pretty good right now. It's like real pineapples just coming in.
And see, here's the thing. I actually had the word I was looking for. And then Matt
and he lost
the joke, and I lost the word again.
All right, get it back.
Delusional. He's delusional, right? He's delusional. He's the hero in his own mind, like right. He's over time going to do more villainous things, right? He's going to keep trying to justify it to himself that, hey, look, I'm not doing anything that I shouldn't be doing, like right. But the things that he does are opposite of what his thoughts. So I think that's where we're going to go with him. But I think it's very interesting. I wanted to talk to you guys about the pace of the show because I thought the pace of the show this week was much better than last week. Whereas when last week we had, a lot of long matches with people that they're trying to establish, right? Like Piper, Xia Li, they had a long match with Indy. They had a lot of people they're trying to kind of get over. And I think this week they had those same individuals on the show, but they kind of intertwined them with more over talent this week. What do you guys think about the actual pacing of the show versus last week?
Compared to last week, I think it's about the same. I think, though, as far as the matchups were a tiny bit different because you had Xia against Becky this week. So that kind of furthered that story. And I loved her video package that she had. Also, we had the tags. First off, we had both tag sides develop into their story. And I wanted to get to this because I think it's amazing to have Chelsea on commentary. So this year, who do we say we wanted? Mox. Who else was the other person? KO. And now we have Chelsea.
You want to add Chelsea to it?
Yeah, she's going to add Chelsea to commentators. But first off, she calls him Matthew. Matthew Cole, and then calls Wade Mr. Barry. So I'm like, This girl is hilarious. But I actually thought I liked this show. Maybe the pacing actually was a little bit faster than last week, but I also thought that they had a little bit different people, more that I cared about together going against each other.
Yeah, I think this show was better than any Raw show has been in like probably a month, which it should be. This is their go home show.
Right.
For a major pay-per-view. But not outside of that, and I thought the same thing. And I was like, well, maybe the pacing is different because I'm able to fast forward through commercials.
Ooh.
But now that you
point.
said that, then maybe not. Maybe the show was just better. And we have to shout out AEW during our Full Gear review show around what they did with the women's matches. Got to shout out WWE for what they did with the women also. It was a ton of women representation on Raw, and I think they all nailed it. This may be hyperbole.
Hyperbole.
Outside of Damage Control, and Rhodesia, you brought up Chelsea. Nia Jax may be the best rehire Triple H has had in his tenure over the last year.
But. That is, I might agree with that. But the run of Nia before she left, you kind of looking at what she was compared to. So when she came back, my expectations for her was nowhere near being high because I remember how I felt about her before she left. So you're right. Her coming back, she's impressing me. But where was her bar at? Her bar was probably low on, if I'm being honest, of her return.
I'm just going off of, and you're right on that, but I'm going off of whenever she is on camera, she's owned it. If it's a promo, she's owned it. If it's a match, she owned it. Her and Raquel smoked their match they had. Like, and we've talked about Raquel needing some character development. I thought she was good in it. I mean, just overall, I thought they did a fantastic job on Raw with the women. And then you look at the Fatal 4-Way tag match, even though love Natty, friend of our X account, friend of the show. But out of all the teams, that was the one I really didn't want to see win.
Aww.
And actually, it's not because of Natty.
Yeah, Tegan.
It's because of Tegan Knox. I'm not high on Tegan Knox right now at all.
Damn, Tegan.
Yeah. And I haven't been since she's been back.
But this is a reset for her then, maybe.
I know, but if you look at...
You didn't like the matching gear or anything?
The matching gear was cool. And I even liked them. Like, I liked their interactions, like even backstage where Tegan was getting, hype and then Natty just kept smacking her hand down. Like that was fun. But if you looked at all the other teams, I was like, I'd rather much see them get a tag title shot than Natty and Tegan. But we'll see, how it plays out. But no, then
I like Renee
Xylee
Dupree, man.
Say again?
Did I say her name right?
Dupree.
Renee?
What's her name? Dupree? What's her name? Her first name?
Maxine?
Maxine.
You said Renee. Is it Renee Dupree? Wasn't that the old...
That was a guy.
Yeah, that was like the old... He was a part of a tag team.
Yeah, he's part of a tag team with Rob Conway.
Who's Rob Conway?
Part of La Resistance. La Resistance.
La Resistance.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I like her. She has a lot of personality in the ring.
She's another one.
Her wrestling is getting a lot better as well.
Which one?
This is Maxine.
Oh, Renee. Oh, Maxine. I said Renee. Lord, am I drinking over here? Damn.
I'm passing the feeling to y'all.
And she's like, shh.
They had like 6 women segments on the show.
And come on, y'all gotta give props. Or at least to me. When we had Zoe, I keep on saying Tony. When we had Zoe inside of the Judgment Day clubhouse with Shayna, and you had that Rhea, and Rhea's like, actually, I kind of respect you a little bit for that. But I thought that interaction was awesome. When I was listening to it, because I wasn't completely watching the entire time, I did rewind it back. Zoe sounded like she belonged. She really, really did. So I know y'all said you want a little bit more to find out who she is as a character. Y'all would have to at least agree that actual interaction was amazing, right?
Boo! Tomato, boo!
Yeah. No, I thought
off my
it was
screen.
Good, but it was good last week. Remember, I said last week that her backstage segment, she was much more comfortable than the promo she cut in the ring.
Yeah, so, no, you're right. I remember you said that. Yeah,
I still don't know who she is, and I don't want her on my TV screen right now.
Wow.
I'll try to figure it out.
So you didn't like that interaction?
Yeah, it's basic.
Well, that interaction to me was more about Shayna and Rhea.
It was Shayna too.
Than it was Zoe.
Yeah, it was Shayna too.
And Rhea.
But Zoe had talked more. That's the reason why I've been.
That's right.
And they have the match.
Tomato.
Not a hater.
And then we got to
Eshaun's
shout out
hater.
Xia Li and
Yes.
Becky. Becky gave Xia a fantastic match. Xia did her part too, but that was a strong match. Wade went a little far talking about a WrestleMania match. All right, Wade, pipe down.
He
a little
did.
bit, sir. Bring it
Mr.
down a
Barry
little bit. I
was
get
feeling
it,
it.
I love
I
it.
get it.
I love that.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Sell it.
But
Sell
yeah,
it.
that was a little much. But yeah, the women smoked it. The women absolutely smoked it. What you guys think of the Miz Gunther segment? Was it enough to get you more excited for their match on Saturday?
No, because I don't think Miz is gonna win. Outside of this new push of him being a face, I just don't think he's gonna win. But they look good in the ring, beating each other up in expensive outfits. I'll tell you that much.
Man, Miz does such a great job. I still just don't give a damn. Don't give not no dams, man.
So it made me want to watch the match more. And I think it did a great job for getting, the fans that don't take wrestling as serious as we do.
Okay.
Something to really gravitate to. I thought they did a really good job of Gunther painting Miz as a normal, quote unquote, loser, like the fans in the crowd and that's watching. Okay, now that gives more positive heat to Miz. I thought it was a really good segment. We know Miz isn't beating them, so no matter what they did, that would have been the feeling. But at least now you got something for the fans to kind of gravitate to in the match. So I thought it was
not
job
this
well
one.
done.
Not this one. Miz is getting his ass whooped, and that's gonna be it. But I was actually impressed with Gunther, though. I think that on the microphone,
Yes.
he's
You see how he
himself-
reacted?
Yeah, he's getting better and better on the microphone overall.
What was it that he said that it was like an
the
improv?
USA line.
Yeah,
The USA
that was
line. They started
awesome.
chanting USA. He's like, that's the best y'all can do is like, what?
Three
I thought it was
letters.
great.
I mean,
Yeah.
awesome.
His microphone skills is catching up to his ring work, and that's beautiful to see.
You see, he said this week in an interview that like Brock is like the end game for him to test himself. Like he has to have that match. Of course, now we're looking at Mania. Yeah, they could do that maybe at Royal Rumble, but I would love I don't know if I want him to be IC champion until April. That's a long time, but I would love for him to like run through everybody. And at this point, if they're not giving me Chad Gable, it looks like anytime soon. That's what I wanted at Survivor Series. But have him run through everybody and then him just say, I've beaten everybody. Like, there's nothing else for me to do. And then hit Brock's music. And I think that would be incredible.
Hey, I don't want to talk about, people in their size. But I was listening to Mark Henry talk about Swerve. And Mark Henry was telling Swerve, when he first got into the company, like, yo, you need to pick up some size, man. I think he's like 195 or something like that when he got into AEW. And Swerve's put on a legit like 15 pounds of muscle. And it's obvious, right? You can see it. He's like, now Swerve, he has that menacing grimace on his face. Now his body looks menacing. He looks formidable. Like, right? And Gunther, I'm not like I'm sure he's probably healthier. But I think he needs to put on maybe about a good 10 pounds of muscle before he can get inside the ring with Brock. Because they wrestle a similar style, but there's a big size difference when they were to stand next to each other right now, right? Because, Gunther's almost kind of like he's kind of thin.
So you're not a fan of, was it Slim Gunther?
Fat
Fat Walter?
Man. Fat Walter. See, you ain't want Fat Walter.
No. I prefer Thin Walter over Fat Gunther. I just think that he should pick up.
I like that one, Thin Walter. Give me that.
Yeah, I think he should pick up maybe 10 pounds of muscle. Look, these guys, they don't have 12-hour jobs like we got. Like, right? Like, this is their job. Like, right? Like to take care of them body, to eat well, and get into the gym, doing those different things. Look, put on another 10 pounds of muscle. What else you got to do with
That's
time,
a lot to ask for, though, when you lean out as much as he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if he was just like normally skinny, okay, maybe you could say that. Like ever since Swerve has been in the business, I've always seen him pretty thin. So him putting on the muscle, putting on muscle is hard anyway. But now you're asking Gunther, and I know what you're saying, but I think he's okay where he's at because he still wrestles really big. Right. And that's one of my issues that I kind of have with Becky is she has this huge bravado. She's the man, but she's probably like 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
She's just fine.
And it's like, I shoot her bail because I'm hoping everything was okay after the kid, because she got really, really thin after the kid. And we just know how that can, mess with your hormones and things of that nature. But that, like, even that, like, I'm just like, all right, you're supposed to be this badass, but like, you're super, super skinny. I don't think Gunther's at that point. But I mean, I can see what you're saying. If he stood next to Brock, but he wrestles really big. He wrestles really, really big. But you could see the size difference with Gunther and Drew at SummerSlam. And that would be something similar to what we would see with Gunther and Brock.
But Brock's even bigger, right? Brock is even bigger. And like the one thing about Drew, he's a big guy, but he wrestles small, right? Because they're kind of the opposite. Like Gunther is smaller but wrestles big. Like whereas Drew is a big guy but wrestles small. Like Brock is a big guy and he wrestles like a big guy. Like right. So now you compare a big guy in the ring with another big guy working the same style. Like right when Brock's like twice the size. And going to the thing is like, look, the thing about the WWE, not only their production, man, they gotta have like the performance center probably has like the best trainers, nutritionists, food, catering, etc. that can help someone build the body. I don't know why if they don't, I don't know what they're not doing to invest into making sure their talent is well trained, well fed, and well educated on how to train their bodies, because like their investment of their body is helping their company. So if they're not helping invest into their actual talent to make sure they're eating well and training well, then that's a miss.
So are you saying that you don't think they're helping their talent?
I would assume they have somebody. I mean, I would say at the Performance Center, right? They got trainers there, right? Like they got somebody there. It's like, hey, I want to get, like, for instance, like Malachi Black. When he first got in NXT, he had a little tummy, like, right. But you look at him now, like towards the end of his run at NXT, and we got into the main roster and look at him now, he's really, really, like muscular, like I would say lean, but he's really, really tight, like, right. And I would assume he maybe picked some of that up from Performance Center trainers. But what do I know? I'm a skinny fat guy drinking a martini. I don't know what's going on.
Before we leave the Imperium, so first off, Vinci's going in business for himself, and now he's the new leader of the two of them between Vinci and Ludwig. What do y'all think if we fast forward 2 months from now? Maybe that might be too long. 1 month from now, where do you see this going?
Well, I think they've already they've already put like there's a video package that I don't know if Ludwig made it himself, and that was the thing, but he had like a whole video package about him, right? He has his own gear, his own logos. I'm like, it seemed like he's about to step out. I don't know what that means for the actual Imperium as a team, but it seemed like he's destined to kind of be a solo guy.
And that's where he needs to be. I think his personality is enough to where he can be a solo act. And as much as I like Gunther with Imperium, I don't think he's going to need them much in the future. So he can be a solo act. I'm a little worried about Giovanni. Yeah. They'll have to probably, put him with somebody or do something that really showcases his personality. But yeah, I don't care, to be honest. Like, I want them all to do well, but like, I'm not invested in like, oh man, I wonder like how something's going to go down this week. I don't care.
I kind of am. I'm kind of like that. I kind of like, hey, I wonder where this is going. I really am.
Ludwig's a handsome man.
He is. Fine European is what he calls himself.
Handsome. He's talking about Gunther being tight. That damn margarita really got eaten. 42 minutes in. He's getting it in. What else? Is there anything for Raw? Or are we about to go to looking at Survivor Series this Saturday?
I think that's all I can remember about Raw that I would want to bring up, because again, it leads us right into Survivor Series. It's going to be here in Chi-Town. And I had this epiphany today, and Matt as my witness. I'm at work, and I'm like, oh shit, Survivor Series is this weekend, and I'm going to Survivor Series. So I just wanted to be known, it is not lost on me that I am blessed beyond belief, being able to go to so many different shows. And I'm like, wow, we about to sit up here and we about to see the return of Randy Orton. No, I didn't know that at that moment because I watched Raw today. But overall, I was like, yo, we're about to see War Games. So I was like, yeah, all right, so we'll start.
And I do too, I think with these two matches in particular, like both War Games matches, this is all about story. Like we're going to see violence because it's a War Games match, so it has to be violent. But like if you compare, like just take like Swerve and Hangman from Full Gear, that was the story, but then the match was about the violence, and we enjoyed it. I talked about how it was like beautiful violence, work of art. To me, like these two cage matches, though, I don't even care about the matches per se. I want to get to the story. I want to get to, does Bayley make it out of Damage Control in that match? I want to get to, what does Orton do? What does Jay do? Like that's, for me, that is what I care about. And I think that that's fantastic that the two, biggest dangerous matches in WWE that they're doing for one pay-per-view, both matches have such incredible stories. That's what like I kind of care about. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know if that means that I'm underselling the violent nature of what we should be getting, but for me, that's what I'm most excited about. It's just like, all right, at the end of the women's match, what am I going to see? At the end of the men's match, what am I going to see?
I think that's a good thing, because just to that point about what we saw with Hangman and Swerve, we were already emotionally invested into these stories. And what comes with War Games. You already know. Kind of like the death match. You know what comes with the death match. So I just think that it's going to already just be like a win-win-win all the way around. Do you want to dissect it?
And if Cody does not blade, I don't care what Triple H says. I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what WWE says. He's Teflon. He's a made man. He can get away with it. If he does not walk out of that cage bloody in a match that his father made that always was bloody, I'm going to lose a little bit of respect for Cody. I already lost a little respect for him. He did that TikTok with Nia Jax. And all y'all.
Oh my God. And that rhythm.
All y'all
he's half black. He's half black now.
He's half black. And he puts on for the culture. My man ain't got a piece of rhythm in him at all.
Hey,
so
I got two things. These young black brothers ain't got rhythm like they used to, man.
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's true too.
Hey, that's not taught no more, man. Especially with the music they listen to, they can't get rhythm like that no more. And you talk about emotional investment. I'm also emotionally invested in the knowing if Bayley got BBL, because
dude,
you know what I'm saying? Because like she got, you know what I'm saying? She real round in a lot of places. You know what I'm talking about?
Bayley is that badass auntie. I told Rhodesia last week. I think we were watching SmackDown, and I was like, she is now into that territory where like you go over your friend's house and your auntie is there, and you just like, dude, that's your auntie? Man, she is bad. She's in the auntie category now.
She's an Elif.
Okay, let's not do that.
I love the fuck.
Don't ever make that face again, please. Now respect my mind. Let's get to Survivor Series, man, because E is leaning, you doing something, and like we still E's got to come back and after this and tell us. He made a comment on the last pod, and I had a real good conversation with my guy Bush. Shout out to Bush, man. He sent me a text and he was just like, "Hey, like I agree with E about this Ospreay thing. It was just another signing. Guy, I'm going from part time to full time, so I want him to kind of talk through that." And then he also made another comment about Adam Copeland, saying like he don't think it's working in AEW. So let's get through the Survivor Series preview, and then I want to ask you about those
tease for the rest of the show. So let's just do War Games first, because we're already here. You know the drill, your excitement level, and who do you think is going to win? So for the men's War Game, again, it's who you think.
Yeah, we did who do we want for
you sure?
Full Gear. Yeah.
Okay. Who do you want to win? So it's your excitement level. Who do you want to win? So on the men's side, do I need to go over I'll go over the names. So right now we have announced Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, and we're assuming Randy Orton versus the Judgment Day.
I just said they made it official. Don't assume. I said breaking.
Okay,
Randy
you're
Orton
right. Sorry.
In War Games.
These notes was before you told me that. Okay, and so then versus
fix your notes, man.
Versus the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, JD, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Your excitement level, who you want to win?
I'm excited, y'all. I'm so excited.
You sound like it. Look at him.
Like the levels of my excitement can't. The level of my excitement
is out of the camera right now. He's leaning so hard.
Look, the level of my excitement can't be enumerated. I just created a word. Wow. That sounds good.
You sure did. Whoa.
That was strong.
You made a word up earlier in the show.
He did make one up earlier. I let that one pass.
I'll let that slide.
I was like, all right, I'm going to let that slide a little bit. But enumerated is actually pretty good. Enumerate's good. All right, so his number is enumerated. He all the way out there.
Enumerated. And who's gonna win? Who do you want to win?
I'm going Judgment Day. I'm going with Randy turning on Cody, costing them the match, a bloody Cody, right? That'd be a sight to see,
go.
right? Because Cody has that platinum blonde hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like these black men with these platinum blonde hair, like Cisco. I mean, that's something. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't seen another black man with the platinum blonde hair since Cisco. So Cody, shouts out to you. But to just see the blood dripping in that hair, there'll be a sight to see. Then getting an RKO with the blood and the
on his
blonde
shoulder
hair
right there,
all over the place. That'd be something to see. That'd be something to see, y'all.
Matt,
I'm gonna
excitement
go
level.
10. Yeah, I'm gonna go 10. I don't want Orton turning at Survivor Series. I think that would be a little too fast. We got TV. We need to write.
It is fast.
I'm even okay. I'm even okay with him turning on Monday, like leaving him laying, right? Because that would just be too quick. Like, why did you turn during War Games already? Unless Orton's going to have a promo and is going to say the reason why is this, then okay. But what I want to happen, I want something significant to happen with the Judgment Day. I don't think they're going to lose the titles on Friday, but they are going against the Street Profits. I would love the Profits to get the belts. And I just want something like significant to happen with the Judgment Day. So if this is about Randy Orton, you got to have the faces go over. So that is what I would want to see.
My excitement level is somewhere between a 10 and enumerated. And then I want to come out of it. I like the whole thing. He said respect. I kind of like maybe Judgment Day winning on the accord of Orton. I'm okay with Orton turning on the first time we see him. Because again, to me, Orton's a natural heel deep down inside of me. That's when I see him, he's a heel. If he's over there kissing babies and shaking hands, I know deep down inside he's about to RKO that little kid. So
I do, and I put this on X earlier this week. We do know this entire thing is leading up to Randy RKOing Rhea.
That'd be wonderful.
No other guy has touched her, and I even said months and months ago, like, man, Orton needs to hurry and come back and RKO Rhea. Yep. I don't know if we get that. Maybe we get that moment because that would be a moment.
Okay, I could take that.
That would be a moment. But then she would have to get in the cage, et cetera, et cetera.
Which I could see her doing that.
But yeah, so I would love to see that. And then you still got the Drew factor. Like, hey, I'm not down with Judgment Day. There was a lot of, on Raw, the friction of you better win, he won, and all that kind of thing. They've got so many different storylines and so many different ways they can go with this story. I'm excited about.
Cool. All right, so moving on to the women's War Games, we have Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch coming from Raw versus Damage Control, then Volume 2.0 with Bayley, Kyrie, Asuka, and Io Sky. Your excitement level, and who do you want to win?
Super excited again. Enumerated. I think I want to see. I like the Damage Control story is very intriguing because it seems like Bayley's on the way out, but she hasn't become a sympathetic character yet. So when she gets kicked out, like what's there to cheer about?
Oh, I got it.
I got it.
That part. No.
What you got?
I figured this out on Friday. So we can't have both. Like, both War Games matches aren't going to finish with like the team turning on each other. Yeah. So we got to pick. All right, because
why not?
Because like you don't want to tell both of those same stories on the same night. So give me Bayley getting stomped out by Damage Control, and how poetic is it that she's going up against 2 out of the 4 members of the 4 Horsemen? Becky's in that match and Charlotte's in that match. They leave Bayley laying, and Becky and Charlotte go to reach for her hand to pick her up, and we get that moment where they're standing tall at the end of it. Oh boy, if I could get goosebumps, there would be the goosebumps. So
Okay,
that's
but
how
who won?
you get the
But who won?
you get the
I
call
love
sign.
that.
That would be interesting if Becky and Charlotte didn't hate each other. Like you think they're professional enough to work in a storyline pretend like they're actually friends?
I do, because they look good Friday. And
Charlotte had a little smile
it
on
was
her
funny.
face.
She
Well-
did, which was cool to see.
Well, actually, I was looking at them. Right, they never stood next to each other at any point in the match. You know, you remember like Ortiz and Santana? Like when
Well, no,
had to
they
tap
were
each
on
other?
opposite sides of the ring, sir. That ain't the same. That ain't the same.
Hey, it was damn near close, man. It was damn near close.
So yeah, so that's how I think you immediately get Bailey cheered.
So, but
As a
okay, so
cosign
then
from Charlotte and Becky.
who wins then?
Oh, give me Damage Control. This ain't
Got
the
it.
time to beat Damage Control.
Got it. Okay,
That's
got
what I was gonna
Asuka,
say. That's what I
Io,
was saying. Like, I don't think this is the time that they would turn on her. I think it's coming, but I don't think this will be the time to turn on because they haven't built up enough sympathy for Bailey yet, or really even told a story, like towards that. So I think that we see Damage Control. winning
It's
this.
trap.
Shotzi's eating the shit out of that pin.
Shkotsky.
She's only in that match to eat the pin.
Yeah.
Poor baby.
That's my girl, but
Yeah.
you just look and like it's like, man, one of these pieces don't belong. Look at
Mhm.
everybody else in that match, and it's like she is sticking out like a sore thumb. So she's there, yep, to eat it.
My excitement is enumerated on this one. I'm super, super hype on this one. So I'm gonna switch real quick. On War Games, I want the good guys to win. On the Women War Games, I want Damage Control to win.
Yep, it's not time to beat them yet,
Yeah.
unless somehow Bailey was the one that cost them, and then they leave her laying the week after. But I want that moment in the cage. I think that would be a cool moment.
Mhm.
And then like Sasha Banks' music hits, Rhodesia, and then you be finally right about her coming back to WWE. Just think, we could have Randy Orton, Sasha Banks, and CM Punk all coming
forget
back.
that.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Who's next?
So we'll just leave with this one because I don't think anybody cares about this one. We have Carlito versus Santos Escobar. Excitement level, and who do you want to win?
Anti-numerated.
Like
Santos.
it. Ditto.
Yeah, I'm about a 4. And you can't beat Santos already.
I'm definitely taking the shit during this match.
I'm not anti-numerated. Enumerated. I don't know if this is the real right fake word we're making up
Hell,
here.
man.
I am a little
It ain't that
tiny
bad.
bit.
I'm gonna watch.
I'm a little interested to see how Carlito goes. With
No,
with
if I got a
Santos.
poo, I'm holding
interested in
it
there.
for this match. I'm
And
holding it for that
this is
match.
it's gonna be okay work match. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. I want to see Carlito go though for like
but
if
this
they're
is
going to give him
another one
13,
that,
17
like,
minutes.
Santos, does he get help from somebody?
Mm.
He's turned on everybody in the LWO. Like, theoretically, Carlito should beat the brakes off of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that happening. So that's another one I'm excited to see.
Hey,
how
what
that
you
plays
think
out.
Carlito's putting in his hair to get that damn nappy?
Nothing.
Puerto
That's why
Rican.
it's snappy.
You think it's
They
just
have- they have
naturally
coarse hair.
that damn nappy?
It's not
You think
nappy.
he-
It's first off, we not gonna call it nappy. It's coarse.
No, that shit's nappy. And
It's
like,
coarse.
he got to put like some spray or something. I ain't never seen nothing like that before. Like that thing look nasty.
Spray. Rhodesia, what's
Yeah, you
next?
got like some nap spray.
I don't know.
You know what I'm
I've never
Yeah.
had nap spray, so I don't know what that means.
Hey, go back to the
brush.
70s. Like them brothers, man, them afros was immaculate, right? Like we seen some nice looking afros and that, but Carlitos ain't it. It
I
ain't
don't
it.
think he picks it probably as much as he's
Yeah.
too busy eating apples.
Mm.
And as E tell it in women, right?
Gunther
Mid-stroke.
and Miz,
so,
Rhodesia. Gunther and Miz.
hold on. This is my segment, okay?
Yeah, no, come on.
Okay, so
We
now
gotta get
I would say
going.
this. So if Miz wins
He's struggling
this,
right now.
if Miz wins this, he will now tie for the record of the most IC wins for the championship belt.
We
So,
did tell E to have his margarita though. Right before we
Mhm.
pressed record, E was
Mhm.
like, "Oh man, yeah, today is like the biggest like drinking day. I should get a margarita." I was like, "Man, go do it." He's like, "Nah, I'm end up like falling asleep on the pod." I was like, "Nah, man, like rock it out." So
Told
you're
y'all.
doing good, man. Just hang on. We only need
Okay.
you for about like
So
another 15 minutes.
Miz and
maybe.
Gunther, Miz and Gunther, excitement level. Who you think is going? Who do you want to win?
Number 3, Gunther's winning. He's whooping that ass. This is going to be one of Matt's great shows. This is why I thought it was so funny when he was complaining about it. Like, this is what wrestling is. This is all about great showings. That's all this match is. That's what this match is built on.
Oh,
It's built on Miz having a great showing, so if the fans continue to respect him and his ring work, he's going to take Gunther to the limits, right? We might even see a Gunther like show of respect at the end of the match, right? And
I don't think
then
so.
Miz gets off the floor and all of a sudden, slowly looks around and everybody
There it
claps.
is.
Like,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
yeah, Miz, you did it. What a great showing, right? That's what this is.
But great showings are okay if you're already a made person. I don't want great showings when you have no momentum and you don't have a plan for you. Like that's where I hate the great showing. So like,
But Zaya had a great showing on Raw.
Another great showing.
she's also, but yeah, I haven't watched NXT yet.
She getting her ass whooped tonight too. She gonna get ass whooped tonight too.
I'm at a 5 for this. I'm at a 5 for this, and Gunther.
I'm gonna say 7 because Gunther's gonna make it quick, and it's Gunther. Next,
So you're
and I
excited
guess
to see
that's
squash?
Yeah. Okay, so we got next. We
okay.
have the Women's World Championship match. We have Zoe Stark. I almost put an S on her last name versus Rhea Ripley. Excitement level, and who do you want to win?
I'm hoping for a Rhea Ripley squash match. Like, you know what I'm saying? Give me that who she squashed real quick. Was it
Natty? It was Natty.
Wasn't it? Yeah, give me that. Give me that real quick. But actually, Zoe actually is a much better wrestler than she is a talker. So I'm sure it's going to be a good match, but I'm just not invested in the character. I know she's losing. There's no way in hell that she's going to be Ripley.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, this show outside the war game. I mean, that's what it should be.
It's almost skippable, right?
Yeah. But the other matches don't have much on it in regards to, and they can throw a shocker out. I don't think they will. But to your point, yeah, Rhea's winning. I wouldn't want Zoe to win, but I am excited for the match just to see Zoe in a big spot. This is a big spot for her. So I'm probably at about like a 7.5, 8 in terms of excitement level, just to see how the matches work.
I'm gonna put this at about an 8.5, and I actually want the opposite. I want this to be a kind of long match. I want to see how the two of them go and dance for a while.
Oh, no need for a squash, but if you take the stare down with any face value, Shayna and Rhea's next after this.
Are you excited for that one?
I really like Shayna, so let me reserve judgment because at the end of the day, we know what should be the end goal for Rhea at Mania is going to be Becky. That's another one that they've been waiting for. So anything that she does between now and then, I don't know if there's anybody that is on Raw right now that I would say, man, you know what I really want to see Rhea go up against, and I think like I would be thoroughly excited about is this person. I don't think they have anybody.
Hey, you know what? I would be more interested in seeing Maxine Dupree wrestle.
No,
Rhea
you wouldn't.
Ripley as an underdog.
Get out of here.
I sure the hell
You're
would.
a lying to cheat.
You know why? It'll be an underdog story.
Second hot take, since that was a hot take there. Second hot take. I'm not looking forward to Becky and Rhea.
What?
Flat out. Period.
But you also are a Becky hater. And you've been
not a Becky hater. No, not a Becky hater.
I kind of support your Becky hater sometimes, but she's been doing some fantastic work.
She absolutely has been doing some fantastic work. But I cannot have us talking about Rhea possibly being in matches with dudes, getting RKOs by Randy, or I guess Randy Orton get RKO by anybody or RKO anyone. I can't sit up here and say that you up here about to fight dudes. We even said that she sized up to Drew last episode. Like, I can't see that in there, her going against Becky and then me being believable in that match. Because to me, Rhea should run through Becky, even though Becky is an incredible wrestler. To me, it's not believable. It's just not.
The old adage, ain't a size of fighting a dog is the size of dog in the fight.
Hey, but let's be clear. Like, Randy Orton will whoop Rhea Ripley's ass.
He would.
Will whoop her ass.
He would.
All the dudes she was pushing up on, like, will legit.
They will whoop her ass
if that was an opportunity. So let's, it's. I get what you're saying, but
yeah, apples to oranges. That's it, right? Isn't that it for the card?
That's it.
So was that 5 matches or 6?
That is 5. We have the 2 war games and 3
5 with the
matches.
CM Punk surprise appearance.
Oh, come on. Let's move on to the next topic. You said Eshaun has some stuff.
They're going to shoot to me. I'm be crying like my man was in AEW. If I hear that Code of Personality music hit. That camera going to find me. I'm going to be falling.
I'm going to get a beer at that time. I go get a beer.
All right, E. So, bring the fire, man. You made a comment about Ospreay. I want to follow up on that because we didn't have a chance to really kind of follow up on it on Sunday. So on Sunday we talked about the signing, and you basically, all intents and purposes, said it wasn't a big signing. You have a guy who was basically part-time in your company. Now he's full-time. Not a big deal. Just kind of talk about that. Why do you feel that way? And do you still feel that way now, a few days after the podcast?
Absolutely, I felt that way. We talked about it previously. This signing is much like Jay White's re-signing or signing with AEW. I think from a wrestling perspective, like number one, Will Ospreay is a great talent. Like, right, anybody should want him. Mm-hmm. And it's a good signing from that standpoint for AEW. If you're Tony Khan in AEW, you have an opportunity to sign Will Ospreay to a full-time contract for multi years. You do it. That's a great move for that company. But I think that from an AEW standpoint, even from a fan standpoint, it's not a major signing because he just was at the Wembley event. We just saw him. He's already in a working storyline with Don Callis. So he's already part of the actual machine, the AEW machine. We've seen him countless times on countless pay-per-views. Okay. He's been a fixture for years within that company. So outside of seeing more of him from a buy rate perspective, I think from a fan engagement perspective, because there's not going to be any fans that are going to tune in to see AEW. Oh shit! Will Ospreay just signed full time. Let me go watch that show. No, the people who are Will Ospreay's fans are already watching the show, so they're not going to gain any more viewership. It's not something that I think is going to shake the foundation of the company. This isn't like a CM Punk or an Edge signing, and in some ways, I don't think Tony Khan really even kind of laid the groundwork for it to be that. But I don't want to say underwhelming is if I said that, that's not what I meant. It's just not a big signing like a Mercedes would be, or like an Edge was, or a CM Punk was. It's a nice move for the company, and that's it.
Okay, so all right, so then let's stay there with the Mercedes, and we know she's coming sooner rather than later. Outside of Mercedes, though, who is that big signing? Because, and I know you remember the tweet, but the tweet just said AEW has agreed to terms of one of the world's best wrestlers, a pro who is known plus respected by virtually every AEW fan. They'll come to LA to sign their contract this Saturday. So, and I'm not putting words in your mouth. He didn't say massive announcement. Hell, that announcement is much better than him telling us tickets are going on
Christmas presents. Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, we should have flipped those two things. Mm-hmm. But outside of Mercedes, what you just kind of broke down, there is nobody out there like that can shift, because it's not talent. Like, AEW's issue is not talent. Like, when I was talking to Bush a couple days ago, I said, I think arguably you could argue AEW has a more talented roster than WWE. You could argue that. It's not talent. It's how they're booked, it's how they're presented. So I don't think there's anybody out there outside of Mercedes that we would feel like, oh, okay, all right, here we go. I just think it was a big signing because now we get to have Will on weekly TV, and we're going to be able to see him consistently. So, like, to your point about him being part-time, yeah, he was, all right, I think he's wrestled, 3 or 4 matches maybe in AEW in 2023. Now you'll be able to times that by, 10 or whatever it's going to be, 10, 12 going forward, and we can see him in stories. We can see him really elevate other wrestlers he's in the ring with. That's why I think it's a big deal. And we know WWE wanted him. Now, do I think there was ever a shot of them getting him? No. Even it was funny because Matt had asked me, do I think Ospreay is signed WWE? I'm like, no, just because he gets to still live in UK. And during the scrum, what did he say? That was like one of the big things. Like, I don't have to move my family. It's like, so I don't know if he ever really, I'm sure they had talks, right? Or him and his agent had talks with WWE, but I think probably going into it, it was like 98% AEW, 2% WWE, but yeah, so, Rhodesia, like, would you put this under as a big signing?
Absolutely. And I was very disappointed and sad that he didn't sign the WWE. I wanted him to be a worldwide name, and he would have gotten that from the machine in WWE. However, on the flip side, boy nose wide open, like you said in the scrum. He's able to stay home. His lady be near her family. And we talk about it all the time. What do we want out of life? Everything isn't about money or fame. You know, it's the other things that matter. So for him, I'm very happy that he was able to have leverage and sign where he wanted to sign. And he made the best decision that is for him and his family. But I'm massively disappointed that he's not going to be in WWE, because unfortunately, what we're feeling, and I think maybe where some of E's feeling is coming from, is we know the possibility of how Will Ospreay may look when he's not booked properly. So you get somebody like a Kenny Omega, who is the greatest wrestler on the planet, but anybody who didn't watch him in JPW will be like, are you smoking crack? Yeah, he looks good now that he's come back, but he's a shell of what he was once before. Nobody really even knows what he can do. Maybe a couple of matches, but overall, that's just the same thing. So now Will Ospreay is going to go to AEW and now possibly get that same treatment. Maybe they don't know how to book him properly, and then now he becomes like, all right, yeah, you're the one of the main guys on the show, but you're not really pulling numbers, and you're not moving crowds and all that stuff. So I can see where that's going, where in WWE it would have been so much different. So long-winded answer, but it's how I feel.
No, I think you're right. 'Cause I think for me, it's just the adjective. I don't think big encompasses what his signing was. I think honestly, I feel like Tony Khan needs to chill out with like all these announcements and things of that nature, because I feel like a lot of them, like every time he does these types of things, I think like it lessens the impact, because I feel like it's every single one of them. I feel like the first couple ones he did were big signings, right? We had, and he didn't use these words this time, right? He said Edge is going to change the foundation of wrestling, whatever the BS that he said, right? I get it. He's a salesperson. We're going to do all that, right? It's a new chapter, etc. So we're talking about, Will, being a big signing, but it's, as Rhodesia said, it's all about how he's going to be booked. Like, right? Because they have a lot of great heavyweight main event caliber wrestlers in that company, and they don't always seem like it, and they aren't always booked like it. I mean, we're talking about, we're gonna get some first time evers. We got dudes in that company right now that's been the company together for 4 years. We still waiting for first time evers in that company. Like, right? So now we got another one. Like that can give us potentially first time evers. And when are they ever going to happen? Are we going to get a storyline? Because we say, we can see them actual storylines. Like the storylines like we get with MJF, these convoluted ones. Because I gotta be honest, it's cool. But as you said on that pay-per-view, that PLE, no, that's actually a pay-per-view. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I had to pay $50 for that. Like that whole story that they told from the beginning show to the end show was so overbooked, right? And we get more of that in that company than we get the Hangman and Swerve. Like,
did you see the talk that MJF has secretly signed back to AEW? Did you see that one?
Well, we've kind of talked about it, man. He's getting too much. Like it would be crazy for them not. Like that's another thing. Yeah. Like at this point, I'm gonna assume he's already signed, because Tony Khan will be like an imbecile to give this man this much power, this much creative, this much TV time. Like the shows run. This man has 8 different storylines running all together, and that's what they call a story thread.
And the story is about him not re-signing. That's also what was kind of like the giveaway. We got a month left. His contract is up January 2nd, he said. But yeah, they're saying that they think he's probably signed to at least 2027. Higher ups in WWE said they haven't even had a conversation with him or any of his representation.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. When we talk about properly using somebody, and we talk about big, which we talked about was a big sign. We said that if CM Punk left, right, potentially bringing in Adam Copeland and Mercedes will kind of put a Band-Aid on that situation. We already got half of that in Edge. And Edge is already, Adam Copeland, the Cope.
Let's go there.
Is already becoming just another guy on that show. Sorry, not sorry. But it just is what it is. We talk about, now that was qualifies as a big signing for that company. Much more than Will Ospreay. And you see what they're doing for him. So you got a guy like Edge, right? Hall of Famer, bona fide main eventer, already another guy on the show. What the hell are they going to do with Will Ospreay?
Oh, man. Like this one, where did you give your thoughts about Adam Copeland being just another guy before I get my thoughts.
Unfortunately, I feel we put just too much pressure on his return. For him, I think he did what was perfect. I think that he can finish off his story, book his own creative loosely, can be with his best friend, can be home. And that was a win for him. It worked perfect for him. When I kind of think back now, we almost expected him to be a savior to AEW. And he's not. And so I feel like it's a little bit unfair for us to have put so much pressure on him. That's just kind of like my thinking now, being 2 months out, 2 months, 6 weeks out, something like that since then.
Yeah.
So that's just my thing. I think we just put too much pressure on him, on his return, what it stood for. Because again, this was the big WWE person who came over. And that's probably wasn't his goal. His goal probably was just to sow your royal oats, to have fun in your golden years of wrestling.
So my thoughts about that is he is in a baked storyline with Christian. So it's not like he came in completely fresh. He came in to try to get back with his best friends and be teammates again and brothers and all that kind of stuff. We got to if that's the story, we got to let that story tell itself before we can say, like, all right, he's just another guy. Now, do I think they've maximized him as much as they can? That I don't know, because he showed up and it was the October pay-per-view. And then the next pay-per-view that he shows up, the next cycle, he's in a match against his best friend along with Sting. So, like, that's a pretty big match. That is a big match. Now, is anybody tuning into AEW right now in this moment just to see Adam Copeland? That's where I can say I probably can see where you're coming from. Maybe,
let me ask you a question.
Not.
Edge is he should be the hottest guy in that match. And was he?
No, not to me.
But says who? Why should he be?
Not
we
to
know
me.
this is
just.
Well, I'm saying why should he be?
To Matt, the 6 people in that match. To you, was he the hottest person in that match?
Well, you said because he should be. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Sting was, because we know Sting is retiring. Like, to me, that takes precedent over all of this. Is like,
but
okay,
does it?
I think so.
The guy who's going to the new chapter, the guy that's shaking the foundation of wrestling, isn't the hottest person in the match? If that ain't some ass booking, I don't know what is.
Okay, so then I would go Sting, and then number 2, I probably would say Christian, because Christian's been doing more of a lot of the storytelling more than Adam Copeland has. But I think that's by design, though.
Right. Because if you think about the whole savior, I think it was unfair pressure because Edge Adam came over immediately to go after Christian. He didn't come over for a heavyweight championship.
Is what he said. And it was the rated R era. So I think that was also a play on that too.
But he didn't. I think we would feel different if he came for a title shot, for a heavyweight title shot. He came in not going for that number 1 spot. He came in to first join his brother and be in a team with him. I think that is a little bit different. So the expectation of us thinking that Edge was going to save everything, he ain't, because he's not even trying to be in the main event picture. When Mercedes come back, I would hope that she would want to go to the main event picture.
And what I will say is, I do think if we were to rewind after we did that show after Wrestle Dream, you can say, hey, it's November 22nd. Is Adam Copeland a bigger deal than what you thought he would be, or a less deal? Now I can say less deal. But that was also after night 1, not knowing how he would be utilized. So this one for me is like, he is in his own. It's kind of like the way the Codyverse was in AEW. Right, like it was like everything else was happening and Cody was doing his thing over here, where he seemed completely disconnected from like regular AEW storylines and AEW wrestlers. This is kind of how I feel like about like Adam Copeland. Like, okay,
but you know the difference is Cody was a star in Codyverse though.
And you're saying Adam Copeland's not a star?
And we've already said that Sting was more important in this feud. Edge was more important in that feud. Christian. And they brought old man Ric Flair back to steer some more shine. I mean, so in Edgeverse, Edge's like the fourth fiddle.
And he did say it was like a bucket list item for him, so I guess he's happy.
That's what I'm saying. For him, this is a success for him. This is what he wanted. We expected something different. And again, we still don't know what he's doing like in the locker room. So we know that this stuff, you have to water your flowers and water your grass for it to grow properly. So it's probably so invaluable having having Adam over there as being a veteran to AEW and the talent. But what we see as fans of him, it is a bit lackluster, but I think that's just because we expected something different. We just didn't know what it was until what we got now.
I just think his booking is a travesty. You talk about like how Kenny Omega is being underutilized. I think you got one of a future Hall of Famer, somebody who's in excellent shape, who still looks good, who still can go, and he's not a focus point on shows or doing anything that's really driving like viewership.
He's already a Hall of Famer. He's already a Hall of Famer.
I mean, I would still.
Yeah, you're right.
I would give him an NA right now. But what I will say is, in that scrum after Wrestle Dream, he said, I'll be there every week. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like he's being... And I don't want to see him wrestle every week. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not even saying I want to see him go out there and cut lengthy promos every single week. But the way Punk meant to Collision is something similar to what I thought Adam Copeland would mean to AEW. And as of right now, 6-7 weeks in, it doesn't feel that way.
And that's our fault, though. We shouldn't have expected that.
Hey, but you know what? Like, the first couple of months tells you where a person's path is going to be, because he's the brand new toy in the toy box, and he's being treated almost like he's like the toys you have in your box for about 6 months now.
I would love your guys' thoughts listening. Hit us up on Twitter, that's FNW, and let us know your thoughts about how Adam Copeland's been utilized so far. And then maybe we can read some on the next episode. All right, guys, we up out of here. It is time to go. We got to get ready for Thanksgiving. We got to get ready for Dynamite tonight. We'll be in the building for that. I did end up getting tickets. It was some cheap tickets too, but it's still really great seats. So I'm excited about that. And then of course we are in the building for SmackDown Survivor Series. We'll be back on Sunday to give you guys a full recap of course kind of some live in-person perspective, and to talk 30 minutes about CM Punk and what's next for him in WWE.
Can we stop with this?
Super excited for that. Until then, he's about to get him another drink, and I'm about to give me something to eat. We'll talk to you guys on Sunday. Holla back.